Is wearing tennis shoes important while playing tennis? This is the first question that any player makes when he starts his engagement with the tennis world. In this video, we're going to show you how you will choose the right tennis shoe for you according to your playstyle. Before we decide what sports shoes someone should use in tennis, we should consider the movement requirements of the sport itself. Tennis is a multidirectional sport, meaning that the player has to move fast for short distances, usually 2 to 8 meters, and execute fast direction changes, either by running or with lateral steps. Also, small jumps during hits are very common. Given the above movement requirements, it is important that the tennis player's shoes meet these requirements and give the necessary grip and safety, and of course cushioning, to the player on the tennis court. There are two important parts in every tennis shoe. These are the outsole and the midsole. The outsole is the bottom surface of the shoe, the part that comes in direct contact with the court, and the midsole is the layer right underneath that. The purpose of the outsole is to provide the player with the stability and traction he needs during fast lateral movements, while the midsole is the part that gives the cushioning needed on the tennis court. In other words, the role of the midsole is to absorb foot-ground contact vibrations and therefore make the shoe feel as comfortable as possible. There are three types of tennis courts: hard courts, clay courts, and synthetic grass or natural grass tennis courts. Hard courts are usually paved asphalt to create the court with layer of color coating. Clay courts are just that, a court made up of clay in a field. And synthetic grass courts usually have sand on them for easy sliding. Given these three types of tennis courts, there are subsequently three types of tennis shoes: hardcourt tennis shoes, clay court tennis shoes, and grass shoes, which mainly differ from one another on the outsole, but they all have a wide outsole that increases traction and stability during fast sprints and sudden stops. This is the main reason why it is dangerous to play tennis with running shoes. Although they have excellent shock absorption qualities, they lack grip on quick bursts and fast changes in direction. Then we have the hardcourt tennis shoes. If you look at the bottom of the shoes, they are covered in a variety of patterns. There will probably be some herringbone textures or some other design type things on their outsole. The job of these hardcourt shoes is to give traction to the player and also to be durable over time. Then we have the clay court tennis shoes. A clay court tennis shoe, on the other hand, usually has herringbone pattern going across the outsole, and this is to help grip on the clay court without retaining a lot of clay sand in sole of the shoe. There is also normally more lateral support in the upper part of the shoe on a clay court shoe because so much more sliding is going on. Finally, the upper part of the shoe is usually a little bit tighter and normally is not a mesh type fabric because it helps keep the clay from getting inside the shoe. So, if you have a club where there are hard courts and clay courts available and you are never quite sure what you are going to be playing on, getting a hard court shoe is probably the best decision. That way, whether you play on hard courts or clay courts, you will have a good shoe. Lastly, we have the Grasscore tennis shoes. This really is a specialized tennis shoe. The bottom has little knobs or rubbery cleats to help grip into the very slippery grass surface. And this shoe is only for grass court use. A common question is, how often should I replace my tennis shoes? Well, the best way to decide is to look at the bottom of your tennis shoes. If you notice that the outsole is starting to wear away so that you can now see the midsole, the layer under the outsole, that tells you that the traction on your shoe has already started to lose its quality and become slippery. There is also a rule of thumb on this, and it is that if you play tennis 2 to 3 times a week in one pair of shoes, you probably need a new pair of shoes about every 6 months. But that is just a rule of thumb and your experience may differ. I think it's better to look at the bottom of your shoes and judge what is going on to help you make the decision whether it's time for a new pair of tennis shoes.